Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana here. I am live this morning. It's a snowy morning here today in Boston, and I am doing this Casing Tuesday card live today. We are casing a card from the Celebration catalog today, and I think it's a kind of a fun card with banners and stuff. And when we do that, we have a Facebook page that you can join us on, and you can post your sample that you've made with the same card, so that's always fun. So I'm going to flip this around, and let's get started, and I'll show you the card we're casing today, and I'll show you the card I made, and then I'm going to ask you a question. Do we want to do it the exact same way, or do we want to change it up a little bit today while we're doing the live? So I'm going to turn you around, and hello, Amy Wilson from where I used to live. It's really good to see you. We're on here. So let me flip. There's my snowy view this morning. We woke up to snow this morning. Let me just turn this a little bit so it's facing down onto my work surface. All right, let me see if I got this cinched up okay. Good morning, Jackie. Thank you everyone for joining me this morning. So this is the card we're casing today. It's this one with these banners in the background, and we've got this circular focal area here, and I changed that up a little bit. I did mine as a heart, which I think it's kind of fun for Valentine's Day to use a heart in the background instead. And instead of a little piece of ribbon, I just did a little heart here in the corner. So this is a really nice, easy, well, somewhat easy background. But I think this, you know, I've turned it into a whimsical card just like in the catalog, so that's kind of fun. So I did this one, this stamp set that I used here is called Little Wild, and it has a lion, a bear, and an elephant, and they make these cute little tags because you've got a back and a front. Let me see if, yeah, I've got one that's kind of stamped as a tag. This was just like as a prototype, but it has a matching die, so you stamp and then you can cut it out, so it's kind of like a tag. I really like this set. It's kind of cute. Well, one of the things that of course you're going to do, you might want to stamp both of them separately, so don't feel that you can't cut up your stamps. I know some people have trouble with that. So for stamping this little line, I actually cut in between these two. These actually come connected like this, and there's enough room to get a scissor in between and cut them apart. You can still bring them together and stamp them just as if they were together. And then there's a die called the Little Loves Framelits that matches the stamp, so you can cut them out, so you don't have to cut them out. So I love that. So anyway, I thought this morning, I love the little lion, but I thought maybe we should make a little elephant card. I thought that might be kind of fun. So my elephants are still connected, so I thought that might be cool. I'll show you how I would do that. So I've got my elephants. I did trim a little bit of the excess rubber around here while I was stamping before. Sometimes when you have excess rubber, you'll catch an edge on the ink pad. So I had already kind of trimmed him up a little bit. So the way I cut this up, I kind of like bend the rubber a little bit. You can kind of see how I bow that. And then I just kind of work my scissor in between. I might come from the top as well. I know some of you are just like going, ah. I'm trying to hold it into the camera while I'm cutting. You could also, stamp these together and then cut in between afterwards. But sometimes, you just don't want to have both of them there. Okay, not the neatest surgery I've ever done. The line had a little bit more space, but you can see this will fit back together on a block. And then now I have two stamps. You might also want to stamp this on the back of a card. I think that's kind of funny when you stamp the back of an animal on the back of a card. So I can just tuck this away for now. And now we just need a block for the little elephant. Oh, right here. Okay. So I'm going to make a pink elephant because the whole theme of this card is kind of for Valentine's Day, so it's going to be pink. I'm going to take my Memento ink and come up right here like that. And then I'm going to do all my big shotting at once. So let me grab my big shot. I've got some hearts. So I guess I can do that first. So we're gonna need, there's two kinds of hearts on the Sweet and Sassy framelits. We've got kind of this curved heart that has a little bit more styling to it, and then we have more of a straight side. So I'm going to need both the largest and the smallest of the straight hearts. And I've got my magnetic platform on here because I like my little framelits to kind of stick on there, but you don't need to use that. You can use your regular platform. And I've got a piece of Dazzling Diamonds glimmer paper, which I'll use for the big heart. And I've got a piece of Flirty Flamingo, which I will use for the little heart. And then I'll just run both of those through. It's hard to cut a nice, beautiful, straight heart if you hand cut it. That's why it's so nice to have these framelits so that you can cut beautiful, perfect little hearts. So I'll set those aside and pop those over here. And so now I'm going to use my elephant framelit. And let me see if I can get that to kind of come around. You could also hand cut the elephant if you don't want to get the framelits, but I think the cool thing about this bundle is that it cuts those tags and you don't have to. It will cut the front and the back out at the same time. It even has a little hole that it cuts right there, so it's ready to tie onto a gift. So I really love these. So here's my little elephant, and you notice I've got to do a little extra cutting, so I'll do it in a second. Let me pop that away. All right, so we've got scissors. Oh, Janine has a comment. She says, I've read when using glimmer paper, the glimmered side should be down on the cutting pad. Do I subscribe to that belief? Actually, yes, I actually do. And this time I actually cut it face up. Especially if you're doing colored glimmer paper like the gold or the red. Sometimes if you are on the cutting side, if that is facing up, it will take away some of the glimmer on the edges. And for the Dazzling Diamonds paper, it is white on white, so you're not going to notice that, but you're right, actually you should do it facing down. Not only that, especially with the colored ones, it is better for placement, because sometimes it's really hard to see where your framelit is at on the glimmer side. I don't know why, but it's just easier to position on the white backing. So yes, I do subscribe to that, but with Dazzling Diamonds with the white color being there, I just really even didn't think about it, but normally I would have that facing down. So now we just need to cut away this little piece of the elephant, like that. And to give him a little bit of contrast, you can take your Pink Pirouette Stampin' Blends. I don't know if I mentioned that I was stamping on Pink Pirouette, but it's Pink Pirouette on Pink Pirouette. So what I can do is I can come in here and I can darken with my darker Pink Pirouette and just give him a little bit of extra color. when this dries, it's going to fade a little bit. It won't be quite as dark, but that way it'll just give him a little bit of contrast. Maybe I'll do the little ears as well. I'm just using the darker of the two pink pirouettes right here. Of course, I did not test the little elephant out before. I just hope he looks good. So, oh, and I noticed the little legs back here. Need to darken those up a little bit. Okay, that looks kind of cute. I could also come in with the lighter pink pirouette and come in and do his trunk. That way he'll pop off the background just a bit. I like how, even though I'm doing just a really kind of weird job with the Stampin' Blends, it kind of blends together anyway, even though I'm not doing like the best job of actually doing blending strokes. It's just kind of happening because the alcohol helps the color blend together. So there's my little elephant. Isn't he cute? So now we need all the pieces of the card to come together. So let's start off with the card base. And I'm using Smoky Slate here for the card base. And it's an 11" by 4 1/4 piece. And I've scored it in half at the 5.5" mark. Good morning, everyone who's joined me in the meantime. Then we're going to cut the two banners. So I've got a piece of, I have my little notes somewhere. Where did they go? I stuck my card on top of it. So my little notes, this is a Blushing Bride piece of cardstock, and I've cut this piece to 2" by 5 1/4 inches. We're going to use the triple banner punch, and all you need to do is slide the piece into, yes, it is in all the way. Slide it in all the way, and then give it a, oh, it is not in all the way. There we go. I thought that was sticking out a little far. Yeah, you have to make sure it's all the way to the back, and then you punch it. You've got the perfect little banner on the bottom. And then I need to do the white one as well, and this one's 1 3/4 inches by 5 inches. Now you'll notice that I don't have a slot for that, so I'm just going to slide it in all the way to the back, and then I just make sure that it's centered between this bigger area here. So once that looks good, I'll just go ahead and punch. And so you can do those in between measurements as well. And these are just the pieces that it cuts off. Okay, so then we need to take the white banner and we need to do some stamping on it. I'm going to use Blushing Bride ink for that. I could have used Pink Pirouette ink, but it's a little light and I wanted it to pop a little bit more. Just got a little piece of scrap paper because I'm going to be stamping off a little bit. If you see my original card here, I've got Wild About You stamped all over the place, and a lot of them are coming off the edges. So let me ink this up. And I want one right here at the top corner that will kind of be seen, because a lot of it is going to be covered up by the heart. So you actually probably don't have to do the whole heart. You just want to hit it in different spots. Maybe one right there. Okay, so I know this looks kind of crazy, but once we've got it covered up by the heart, it's going to look really good. So let me pop that away. So let me see, do we have all the pieces that we need? We've got this one, we've got our hearts, we've got the elephant. Okay, we're all set. So now we just need some glue, and I'm going to use my Tombow for that. And I'll just put some right on the back. It's my glue stuck. And you know, everyone, I don't know if everyone does this as well. I have a paper clip that's opened up and I just leave it to the side of my work surface. So in case my Tombow gets clogged up, I have a handy little device to clear it out real quick. So there we go. Now it's working. And then I'm just going to put it about 1/4 of an inch from the top and about 1/2 an inch from the side. Make sure it's straight. And I'll take my next one. And I'm going to put it about halfway, the halfway point of this pink banner, Blushing Bride banner, and about maybe 1/4 of an inch down from the top. Making sure it's straight. All right. And then we've got this big heart. I love glimmer paper because it adds, now you can't always see it when it's on camera, but if you can see it kind of catch the light, this glimmer paper has some pinks and greens in the background, and I think it looks just great for a Valentine. So this one is about centered on the white banner. So you can just see a peek of that greeting coming through on that background banner. And then this little guy, I need some dimensionals. Let me grab some dimensionals for the back. I'm going to put 4 dimensionals on here because if you've ever worked with glimmer stuff before, sometimes things have a hard time adhering to the glimmer. So I'm going to be a little bit overkill with adhesive. The dimensionals seem to work pretty well on the glimmer paper though, in my personal experience. So I'm just going to kind of put him right like that. Oh, he's so cute. I like him, just like the lion. It's kind of cute too. And then this little heart right here, we cut earlier. I'll just tuck him right under here like that. The idea is it kind of supposed to look like the little critter is giving you the heart. So that's why it's kind of like this little side embellishment. Now the one mistake I made on this card was I forgot to put away my retired enamel shapes from last year. I didn't realize that they had retired, but we have new ones, but not in these same colors. So if you were creating this, I put down the Subtles enamel shapes if you wanted to recreate this card exactly. And then you could use those colors. There's a couple of pinks in there, and it would also look really nice. So just pretend that these aren't the flamingo that matches the flamingo. It will look just as nice if you had a pink pirouette or a blushing bride inner heart right there. So just excuse that. And after today, I'm going to go put these away and not use them again. And I'm going to go buy some correct ones. I didn't have time to get them into the house before my card went live because I'm always working ahead and I didn't have time to order them in the meantime. So I'm just going to add that little heart like that. So they're the two cards, and I like them both. I mean, and you could have done the bear too. So just a different look with, you know, one is an elephant and one is a lion. So I think that's kind of cute. So let me go ahead and turn myself around. If you think of any questions while I'm turning around, like, please post them. I love answering questions. It makes it very interesting. Oh, let me hit the turnaround button. Okay. All right. Okay. I am back in view. So during this time of year, we've got a promotion going on. It's ever since I've been a Stampin' Up! Customer, in January, February, March, we have a promotion called Celebration. So this is a great time of year to be a customer because if you spend $50 with Stampin' Up, they will reward you with a product from their celebration catalog and you get to choose it. So it's a really fun time of year. It's also a great time of year to get the starter kit. So that's another thing. So if you need supplies, you can go ahead and click on my supply link in the description of this video, and it will take you to my blog, which has a complete supply list of everything I used here. Plus, I've got a ton of other projects. I do cards and I do a lot of 3Ds, and you will see a lot of 3D projects. So those are nice little things for Valentine's Day, you know, to give out for classes, or if you've got co-workers, just a little happy. So that's kind of cool. Let me see if anyone has any questions. So excuse me looking up my nose. I need to look through my reading glasses, and that's so Sylvia said, I would think the glimmer paper will dull the dye. So, you know, in my experience, now I don't hold a ton of classes. I used to hold classes. I have never had a dye go completely dull. I have heard, though, that we have a precision platform that is supposed to help cut intricate dyes. I have heard that that will eventually dull your dyes. The same thing that helps you cut it intricately, I guess, also dulls the dyes. Now, I'm not 100% sure about that. I have never loved my precision plate because it is so hard on the other dyes because it takes the place of the bottom dye. And so your top plate, the ones that I use, let me show you. These guys right here, they warp a lot if you're using the precision plate, and they will wear down really quickly. They crack and stuff. I don't use the precision plate. I am happy not to use it. I find that what I'll do is I'll run my die through maybe 2 or 3 times if it's an intricate die, and I will then pop out the pieces. I find that works for me just as well as the precision plate. So that's the only thing that I've really heard that dulls the dies, and in my experience, the glimmer paper hasn't been a problem. I think maybe also because you're not probably really cutting through the glimmer. The glimmer is it's like little pieces of glitter, right? So I think they separate more, and that's why it's not a good idea to cut on the front side of the glimmer paper because it adds undue pressure on that front side, and sometimes those little glitter pieces chip off. So I don't know about the glimmer paper 100% for sure, but it hasn't been a problem in my experience, and I do use it regularly to cut the glimmer paper. So so far so good. Any other questions? Someone said it's colder than a mother-in-law's heart here in Indiana. My mother-in-law is wonderful, so I don't know about that, but it is cold this morning. It's -6 Celsius. I work in Celsius in the winter. I can't deal with Fahrenheit when it gets below freezing. My Canadian brain cannot calculate. It does not compute. So my little weather app is now in Celsius mode. So if you're from Canada, you know what I mean, or another Celsius speaking country, you understand what I'm talking about. But once it gets below 32, why 32? Why can it not just be 0 and freezing? It just makes so much more sense. So we're -6 this morning, and I did walk. I walked this morning. I walk every day. I walked in the cold, snow blowing weather. It wasn't that pleasant, but it wasn't that bad either. good for fresh air. Anyway, I have now talked way too much. I hope you will go and check out our Facebook group. There are lots of great samples there this morning already, and our bloggers have done a fabulous job. And last week we had a whole bunch of people join us and show us their cards. And some of the people on here too today stamped cards to show us on the Facebook group, and I love that. So please keep doing that. That's the whole reason we're doing this. I mean, it's only as much fun as if you're going to join us. If it's just me and it's just Catalina and it's just the bloggers, I mean, that's not the point. It's the coolness comes out when we take that card. Where's my card? This card right here, this one with the banners. And we look at our stamps in our stamp room. Doesn't matter what you have, you come up with a card based on this design. And if you go to the Facebook group, you'll be able to see that people have done different things. Like they've taken the card and they've gone horizontal, or they've taken a stamp that, you know, a longer stamp, maybe not a small stamp like the panda, and they've done different things with it. So don't think, oh, well, I don't have a stamp that size. Even someone new could take what they had and create a card with it. We'd love to see it. So please join in. This is why we do the Casing Tuesday, because it's not just for us, it's for you as well. So please join in. So I hope you guys all have a great week, and I will see you next week. Bye.